Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today I want to do a video about Amdapor Keep. And you don't know how hard it was for me to actually say Amdapor. I've been saying Amdapor ever since the game came out. And it was only a few days ago that I actually started calling it Amdapor Keep, and I still kind of have to struggle to say it, so forgive me. So I'm going to do a guide for this dungeon. I'm going to warn you now, this guide is it's a little bit skewed because I was doing runs with my free company and we kill them a little bit too fast for some of the mechanics, but I will make mention of all of them at the very least. I'm also going to make mention of any special things you need to notice about trash, as well as key mobs that you're going to have to kill to even progress with the dungeon. So this is Amdapor Keep. It's a 4-man dungeon. You'll use it for around item level 60 gear, and it's also the most consistent place to farm mythology points. You can also get them from hard mode primals and the coil, but this, for when you first hit level 50, when you're looking to get mythology points, this is where you'll go. So there's a bunch of trash in this place that, as you can see, we're going to just bypass the first few packs of this. I have a feeling this is going to get fixed pretty soon. They already did a sort of fix to this dungeon where they increased the movement speed and they added key mobs that you have to kill in order to progress. I have a feeling we're going to see it go a little bit further. So I'm going to make mention of the trash as we're running through it. So there's hipposurfs here, or hippogriffs. They have different names in Final Fantasy XIV. And they really they run fast. They use an instant cast move that does some additional damage, and a few of them occasionally use a conal move. Not a big deal. The big guys are Dullahans. Dullahans are pretty much the hardest hitting mob in the entire dungeon. Basically all they do is they auto attack for about 1800 on non-tanks, and they also have a cleave move and a move that increases their damage. So really they're just big mobs that you're going to have to kill. They patrol back and forth, so you can usually pull them alone, and they become pretty easy to deal with when it's just one of them and no other monsters. Other than that, there are actually lunatic followers, and there's two kinds of lunatic followers. They all come in groups of 2 or 3. But the lunatic followers, there's 2 kinds. One of them is a warrior who uses an axe and moves such as overpower. And there's a group of them right over there. There's another one that actually is a summoner, at least they look like a summoner from the distance, and they wield a staff, and they're usually smaller in stature compared to the warriors. And they actually, as soon as you aggro, will start trying to summon a demon. You can interrupt this spellcast, and that's actually the point of the pulls. You're supposed to interrupt the spellcast while you finish the caster lunatic follower, and kill them off before they can get the ad. But even if they summon the ad itself is really, it's just one extra mob that you have to fight. There's nothing like game breaking about the demon that the lunatic followers summon. So in case you're wondering what we're doing here, we're doing a new speedrun. Since they added key mobs and they increased the movement speed of all the monsters, you can't really speedrun this dungeon as well as you used to be able to. If you're still looking for philosophy points, Castrum Meridianum is still the place to go. However, when you need mythology points, it doesn't hurt to do it a little bit faster. So now there's Dullahans going back and forth between the center, and we're trying to do this fight without pulling them. Now these are the first key mobs that you'll actually have to fight for this dungeon. They guard the door to the first boss, and you just need to kill this pack, and then you can move on to the first boss. In case you're interested, in the northeast corner of this, whatever you want to call it, this court, or this area, there's actually a treasure coffer that has a demon brick pet inside of it. So if you're with friends and you don't know where that pet comes from, that's actually where it comes from. It's just past these stairs. On the other side of the stairs that we're facing these things on, there's a treasure coffer there. There's Dullahans and hippogriffs patrolling back and forth over there. There's a few groups of enemies that you may have to kill to get over there. But in the end, it's a demon brick. It's literally just a brick with demon wings. I mean, how can you turn that down? So we're coming on to the first boss here, and again, I apologize. We do kill the boss a little bit quicker than I would have liked because I wanted to show more of the mechanics. But the only mechanic that I really miss is one of the ads. So the fight's going to start with this Lunatic Priest. He doesn't do much. He casts Thunder. He casts Voidfire 3. He also sometimes casts Voidfire 2 on other party members. Not a big deal. At 50%, he's going to start summoning Void Call, which is actually the same move that the Lunatic followers use outside. When he finishes casting Void Call, he will summon the true boss, which is a Psych Flare. So this guy just has a few moves. In case you look around, there are actually golems, unactive golems around the arena that you'll have to pay attention to. Now this guy just casts a few spells. He casts Water, which is pretty fast to cast. You don't want to do much about that. He also uses Void Thunder 3, which will actually hit really hard. Tip, in order to avoid spells, you can actually walk through an enemy and line of sight them. This will actually make things pretty easy in terms of avoiding those moves. You can just walk through the boss and avoid Void Thunder 3 altogether. He'll also cast a move called Canker, which incredibly slows your movement speed. It's so annoying to have it on you. And he'll also cast Mind Melt, which is an AoE. Keep in mind, this boss can be silenced, this boss can be stunned, so you can silence and stun these moves. Every 30 seconds or so, he'll summon and add one of 2 golems. He'll always start with this golem first. These golems can be stunned, they cannot be silenced. Well, they can be silenced, but you can't silence their moves. One of them will do a conal move that just does a lot of damage, so you just need to move out of it. And the other one, the one that's inactive standing right to the right of me right here, actually uses the move Obliterate, which is a room-wide AoE that can be line of sighted with these pillars, which, by the way, I'll mention in a second. And you can just stun it, it's not a big deal. So at 50%, he'll summon a big golem in the center of the room that will do Obliterate, which will hit most of the room, as you can see. However, you can use these pillars to line of sight the golem, so there are plenty of different locations that you can stand, but there's really not much to do other than not get hit by it. Also, he'll continue to summon the golems in this phase, so the quicker you get that phase down, the better. As you can see, I have Canker on me right here. It is so annoying there. It goes, it wore off. Open the treasure coffer because I'm the only one who still wants to see the loot in this party. It's not fair. But yeah, this is the loot that we get after you finish the boss. You walk through there. This is the kind of loot you'll get. This is, I believe this is DPS. Yeah, this is a DPS hands for Dragoon. And yeah, Dragoon. That's Dragoon hands primarily. And I just wanted to show you that real quick. Item level 60 gear. It's still pretty good, honestly. You can go into Coil with some item level 60 gear. You can go into hard mode primals with some item level 60 gear if it's the right kind. So now we're moving on to the trash before boss 2, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it takes a little bit longer. Now, you can't really speedrun this part of the dungeon. So basically, I mentioned before there are key mobs, and the first set were the Lunatic followers right outside the door. Every room basically has a set of statues that are actually gargoyles hidden. Vodarigas, I believe they're called, is the right pronunciation. Something along those lines. Not really that big of a deal how to pronounce it. And those are actually the key mobs that you have to kill. As you can see, our white mage went ahead and took the liberty of making this run a little bit faster by pulling them. I actually like it when I was going to do it myself, but it was way ahead of me, so I wasn't going to complain. And you just have to kill these in every single room, and then the door to the second boss will unlock. So we're killing these. You can actually skip this Dullahan right here just by sneaking along the outside of the room. I'm cool and I like to go. Everyone else went the other way because, again, nobody cares about the loot. There's a treasure coffer here that always has a piece of jewelry in it, and this is the only piece of jewelry I believe you can get in the entire dungeon. It can be a neck piece, it can be a ring, it can be or an earring. I believe those are the only 3 things it can be. I believe there's no wrists that come out of this dungeon. That was how much? No, that was a necklace right there, and they can be tanking wrists, DPS wrists, or not wrists, you can't get wrists. They can be DPS pieces, tank pieces, caster pieces, healing pieces. They can be any of those. So to get all the jewelry, if you actually want it, you may have to run Amdapor Keep quite a few times. So as you can see right here, we're pulling the last set of the required mobs, and then the boss room is just right there past this Dullahan and these few ads right in front of us. So we're actually gonna pull them all very soon, and we're just gonna, all of us are going to run past them, go into the boss room while the tank dies outside of the boss room. Again, I don't know what they're going to do to fix this. I mean, there are a few things that they could do right off the top of my head, but this is all we have to do. I mean, we killed all the key monsters that they set up for us, so we run past here, I start singing Ballad, and we raise them, and we go on to the second boss. So the second boss here, for those of you who have played some of the earlier Final Fantasies, is actually the Demon Wall. Demon Wall is mostly a DPS check, but he can be done without high DPS, so don't have to worry about that too much. So he has a few mechanics. One is that the hate table matters for nothing on this fight. He's just going to shoot random energy balls at people, do about 500-600 damage, and your goal is to kill him as quick as possible. Now, he's going to do this move called Murder Hole. He'll start with 1 in the center, and then he'll move to 2 on the outside. He'll always do this pattern, and he'll do it twice. After he does it the second time, he will use a move called Repel, which will knock you back, and he will move forward, giving you less room to fight him on this narrow bridge. Keep in mind, he can knock you off the edge and kill you, so after the second set of Murder Holes, you're going to want to stand in the center like this until Repel comes out. Be very, very careful about where you stand because he will knock you off very easily. So as you can see, he moved forward, and now he's going to repeat that again. Unfortunately, we kill him a little bit quick, so I'll have to mention the mechanics that come after the second Repel. After the second Repel, he's going to put one of this Void Ooze in the back of the room, which means that if you stand back there, you will take damage over time. Also, he'll summon 2 ads that you can either limit break them down and kill them right away, or you can try and burn the boss depending on how much HP he has left. So I recommend, if you're new to this dungeon, killing the ads and then going back to the boss. They do an AoE move that will paralyze and do quite a bit of damage, so just be very careful. Just try to have your tank pick them up if you don't think that your DPS is enough to handle them at that time. He also drops 2 pieces of loot from that boss, so even more stuff for everybody. And after you kill the demon wall, you will come to the final part of the dungeon. This part has a few new enemies, but nothing too serious. The demons here, the soul collectors, are actually the demons that the lunatic followers were attempting to summon before. And there's also Shmalenkos and what is it? They're like hound lights or something like that. Yeah, hound lights. I just had to lean forward and read a little bit. And it's just trash mobs. Again, there's nothing really too fancy about this. There's more Dullahans walking back and forth. I recommend just killing the Shmalenkos and the Houndlights first. However, there are also 3 succubus that wander this upper part of Amdapor Keep, and these are the key mobs that you have to kill in order to open the door to the final boss. So these succubi, they are very annoying in this part, especially if you've never done the dungeon before. There's one right there, and we're going to pull it from this side and let it come all the way around while we kill this Dullahan. They actually lock on to targets that are way out of their range, and they just occasionally shoot void fires at you, which do a couple thousand damage, so you don't want to get hit by them. They'll also do it while you're fighting them. Keep in mind it can be silenced or stunned, so while you're fighting them you can deal with it, but while you're running through killing the trash, you may occasionally have to dodge one of those moves. So we killed the second succubus, and now we are going to run past the trash again. Not really much I can say about this. I mean, again, all we're really missing here in terms of me showing you the dungeon is that there's more trash. And it's all trash that we've already seen before. So there's a Dullahan. If you're going to speedrun this, which I don't recommend doing all the time, you can shield bash or stun the Dullahans in order to reduce the amount of damage that you take while you're running. You're probably going to need a paladin for this, though, just for hollowed ground, just because of the movement speed of the enemies. I haven't done a new speedrun with a warrior yet. I don't know how easy it is or how viable it is at all, so don't take my word for it, actually. You may have done it and I may not have, so that just comes down to that. So after we get past that, we go hide in the corner, we raise, and then we kill this first Dullahan. We're pulling the succubus right here. This is the 3rd succubus that you need in order to open the door. That's actually directly behind us, or behind me, I should say, right now. So we kill the succubus, and then we very, very cleverly try to sneak by this guy. It doesn't work. He actually just goes right for me. And I think this is like the 3rd time this day I'd already got aggroed that guy. I don't care. He's just one enemy. How much time are we really saving here? Like 10 seconds. So we're going to come to this part, and this is actually the final boss. I'm going to slow down this part of the video again. I just wanted to speed up through the trash kills, just because there's really nothing fancy to talk about during the trash mob. So this is the last boss. It's a dragon. If you played Final Fantasy XI, its model is a high-res version of the dragons from there. I was so hoping this was going to be the Ash Dragon, though. Any Final Fantasy XI players will get that reference. So this boss has a few mechanics, nothing too fancy, again, but he will test your attention-paying skills, and he will test your DPS to some degree. So when you start the fight, I recommend doing this. You pull him off to the side in the northwest corner, and then you turn him around so his tail is facing the wall. I've heard stories of people having the tail facing the entire room, but everybody gathering up by the northwest corner and then just hiding behind it for imminent catastrophe. That can work, but I just don't like the idea of having the tail facing the entire room. It gives you a lot less room for error when you get to the phase after this. So he has a tail swipe, which will cover almost the entire room, as I was just saying. He also has a move called Rotten Breath, which will do a few K damage to the tank, and it'll put a healing debuff on them. So healers, you need to Asuna that off right away, or leech it off if you're a scholar, and then you should be alright. He also has this move called Imminent Catastrophe, which will summon a black portal in the center of the room, which will blow up after a short delay. You can hide behind these statues in the room to actually avoid being hit by it, and that's how you're supposed to do it. Every time he does Imminent Catastrophe, one of the statues will turn into a gargoyle, which is hiding over there in the corner. I think we actually don't kill it, but you're supposed to kill this gargoyle. It's just part of the fight. And nothing really changes from phase 1 to phase 2 from when the first gargoyle spawns. However, when he does the second Imminent Catastrophe, hey, we're doing too much damage. And there's the tail swipe, by the way. Boom, kicked. Anyway, after he does the second Imminent Catastrophe, he will do a move that puts a tether between you and him. And now he only does this to one person other than the tank, and that person needs to run far away from the group. The reason why is after a brief delay, it will summon an orb on the ground that will pulse for about 600-700 AoE damage. he'll do this twice before doing Imminent Catastrophe again, and whenever he does Imminent Catastrophe, he wipes those things away from the actual fighting arena. So again, this fight's not that difficult, but it will test your DPS and it will test some of your attention-paying skills with the tether. It's a good fight, and hopefully you guys are able to farm it out for those mythology points. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV information. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter if you have any questions or comments, or if you just like to shoot me a tweet every once in a while to say something silly. Sorry about that. Silly to me. Doesn't really bother me. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, see you next time. But anyway, until next time, guys, take care.